On November 24th, 1971, a man walked up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter in Portland, Oregon. He bought a one-way ticket to Seattle, paying with a $20 bill. He gave his name as Dan Cooper. He was in his mid-40s, wearing a dark suit, a white shirt, and a skinny black tie. He looked like any other businessman on a short flight. He boarded the Boeing 727, Flight 305, sat in seat 18C, and ordered a bourbon and soda. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a note to a flight attendant named Florence. Thinking it was just his phone number, she dropped it into her purse. Cooper leaned in and said, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." The note was written in neat, all-caps letters. It stated he had a bomb in his briefcase and wanted her to sit next to him. Terrified, Florence did as he asked. Cooper calmly opened his briefcase, revealing a mess of red cylinders, wires, and a large battery. He wanted $200,000 in $20 bills. 4 parachutes to main chutes and to reserve chutes and a fuel truck ready in Seattle to refuel the plane upon arrival. Florence took the demands to the cockpit. The captain, William Scott, contacted Seattle-Tacoma International Airport Air Traffic Control, who then notified the authorities. The passengers were told they were circling due to a minor mechanical issue. They had no idea they were part of one of the most audacious hijackings in history. On D. Grund, the airline's president, Donald Nirup, authorized the ransom payment, and the FBI scrambled to gather the cashed-in 1,000 unmarked $20 bills. They also sourced the parachutes from a local skydiving school. The plane landed in Seattle just after 5:30 p.m. To keep the situation calm, Cooper had the cabin lights dimmed. The exchange went smoothly. An airline employee brought the cash and parachutes aboard. In return, Cooper released all 36 passengers and 2 of the flight attendants. He kept the flight crew, the captain, the first officer, a flight engineer, and 1 flight attendant. While the plane was being refueled, Cooper outlined his new plan. He wanted them to fly to Mexico City at a low altitude of 10,000 feet and a slow airspeed of about 170 miles per hour. This was the slowest possible speed for a 727 without stalling. He also demanded the landing gear stay down and the wing flaps be lowered to 15 degrees. The pilots explained that flying to Mexico City under those conditions was impossible. The plane wouldn't have enough fuel. After a negotiation, they agreed on a new route with a refueling stop in Reno, Nevada. Around 7:40 p.m., the 727 took off again, heading south into the dark, stormy night. Cooper told the remaining flight attendant to go into the cockpit and stay there with the door closed. That was the last time anyone saw him. A little after 8 p.m., a warning light flashed in the cockpit, indicating that the aft the staircase at the back of the plane, had been opened. The crew felt a change in air pressure. This was it. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, over the rugged, wooded terrain of southwestern Washington, Dan Cooper, now widely known as Deep Cooper due to a media misunderstanding, jumped from the back of a commercial airliner with $200,000 strapped to his body, disappearing into the night and into legend. When the plane landed safely in Reno, authorities swarmed it, only to find it empty, except for the crew. Cooper was gone. He had left behind his black tie and 2 of the 4 parachutes. The FBI immediately launched one of the most extensive and longest-running investigations in its history, codenamed Noriak. For Northwest hijacking, they interviewed hundreds of people, chased down thousands of leads, and scoured the projected jump zone. The search area was vast and treacherous, covered in dense forest. Despite using helicopters and ground troops, they found nothing. No Cooper, no parachute, no money. So, what happened to him? Did he survive the jump? The conditions were terrible. It was a freezing night with heavy rain and wind. He jumped into a wilderness area with temperatures well below freezing. He was wearing a business suit, not proper gear for a high-altitude jump into the wild. Most experts believed he couldn't have survived the landing. The FBO thought he was an experienced skydiver, perhaps a paratrooper, given his specific demands for the parachutes and his knowledge of the 727's capabilities, like the aft air stair. He knew it could be opened in flight, something even the airline crew wasn't aware of. For years, the case went cold. There were countless theories and suspects, but no solid evidence. Then, in 1980 A young boy named Brian Ingram was vacationing with his family along the Columbia River at a place called Tena Bar. While digging a fire pit in the sand, he unearthed a rotting package. Inside were 3 bundles of cash. The money was degraded, but the serial numbers were still visible. The FBI confirmed it was part of the ransom money given to Cooper. About $5,800 were recovered. This discovery only deepened the mystery. The money was found miles from the most likely jump zone. How did it get there? Did Cooper lose some of it during the jump? Did he bury it and die nearby? Or did the river carry it downstream over the years? Scientists studied how the bundles were found and concluded they likely washed ashore, rather than being buried intentionally. Despite this find, no other trace of Cooper or the remaining $194,000 has ever been found. The FBI officially closed the active investigation in 2016, after 45 years. They analyzed the DNA from Cooper's tie, but could you unmatch it to any of their numerous suspects? The profile they built suggested he was a man with a grudge, maybe a veteran, but this was pure speculation. Over the years, several people have claimed to be D.B. Cooper, or have been named as suspects by family and friends. But none of these claims have ever been proven. One of the most compelling suspects was a man named Richard McCoy Jr., a Vietnam veteran and expert skydiver, who staged a similar hijacking just a few months after Cooper's. He jumped from a 727 with $500,000 but was caught, tried, and convicted. He later escaped from prison and was killed in a shootout with the FBI. While the similarities were striking, the FBI officially ruled him out due to physical mismatches and other evidence. So, the legend of D.B. Cooper lives on. A man who planned and executed a near-perfect crime, becoming a folk hero in the process. Was he a brilliant criminal mastermind or just a desperate man who got lucky and then met his end in the unforgiving wilderness? Did he escape with the money and live out his days in quiet anonymity? Or is his skeleton lying somewhere in the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest? The fact that we still don't know is what makes the story of D.B. Cooper so captivating. It's the ultimate unsolved mystery, a tale of audacity, risk, and a man who simply vanished into the sky. What do you think happened to him? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into one of history's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.